You must understand that everything you are looking for, peace, love, success, healing, is already within you. But you've been programmed to look outside. You've been told to chase, to prove, to seek validation from the world, instead of aligning with the one force that changes everything. Your energy, midogride. And energy, my friend, is nothing mystical. It's science. It's reality. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel broadcasts a frequency. And that frequency determines what you attract, how you feel, and what shows up in your life. So when I say focus on yourself, I don't mean become selfish. I mean become aware. Aware of the signals you're sending out. Aware of the patterns you're repeating. Aware of how your body responds when you're frustrated, hopeless, or disconnected. Because if you don't change that internal signal, nothing on the outside will ever change permanently. Transformation isn't about hustle, it's about alignment. It's about bringing your mind, body, and spirit into a coherent state, where your thoughts match your emotions, and your emotions match the reality you want to live in. You see, most people live in survival. Stress hormones run their lives. They're waiting for success to feel powerful, waiting for healing to feel whole, waiting for love to feel worthy. But you must reverse that. You must feel powerful first. You must feel whole, loved, complete before the world gives you the evidence. That's how you shift your energy. That's how you become magnetic to the life you deserve. The mind doesn't know the difference between a real experience and one imagined vividly with emotion. If you can rehearse success, rehearse healing, rehearse joy, you begin to signal new genes, forge new neural networks, and broadcast a new electromagnetic field, and your energy, your frequency, becomes a match for a new future. Focus on yourself not because you're cutting people off, but because you're tuning into the only thing you truly have power over, your inner world. Because when the inner world changes, the outer world follows. Now ask yourself, how often are you living in the past? How often do you replay the same emotional reactions, the same complaints, the same familiar suffering? That's not who you are. That's who you've practiced being. But just like you practice survival, you can practice greatness. You can rehearse gratitude. You can condition courage. You can become the future version of yourself now. And every time you do, you're changing your brain. You're instructing your body. You're shifting your destiny. People ask, how do I manifest? The answer is simple. Shift your energy and stay there. Not for 10 minutes, not until it gets hard, but until the new energy becomes your normal. Your nervous system will resist, your old identity will fight, but your soul, your higher consciousness already knows. It's been waiting for you to remember. You are not broken. You are not your past. You are not your trauma. You are pure potential conditioned by experience, but never defined by it. The moment you close your eyes, slow your breath, and tune into your inner world, you've already taken your power back. Because now you're not reacting, you're creating. Creation doesn't begin outside of you. It begins with your attention, your intention, and your energy. When you focus on yourself, you reclaim authority over your reality. You stop waiting, you stop wishing, you start being. You start vibrating at the frequency of the future you want, and that future begins to collapse into the now. We are electromagnetic beings. Our thoughts are electric. Our emotions are magnetic. What you think and feel creates a field, a broadcast, and that field interacts with the quantum universe. So when you think like a victim and feel hopeless, you're creating more of the same. But when you think like a creator and feel gratitude, the universe responds in kind. This isn't hype, this is physics. The quantum field responds not to what we want, but to who we are being. You don't attract what you desire. You attract what you believe, what you feel, what you embody. And that's why focusing on yourself is the most selfless thing you can do. Because when you raise your energy, you raise the collective. When you heal yourself, you become an example of what's possible for others. Stop looking for signs. Become the sign. Stop chasing alignment. Be alignment. Wake up each day and ask, who do I want to be today? What energy will I carry? Will I choose gratitude over complaining? Will I choose courage over fear? Will I choose faith over doubt? Because those choices, they compound. Energy compounds. The more you show up in alignment with your vision, the more momentum you build. And soon, the energy around you begins to shift. People notice. Opportunities open. Health improves. Coincidences multiply. That's not magic. That's coherence. That's the power of a focused mind and an elevated heart. That's the law of resonance in action. Let others doubt. Let others gossip. Let others scroll past. You stay tuned in. You stay focused. You stay grounded in the vision of your future self, not because it's easy, but because you've made a decision. Your energy is sacred. Your focus is intentional. Your time is powerful. When you honor those three things, you move differently, you speak differently, you think differently, you think differently. And that difference becomes the frequency of your new life. This is the first shift, the inner shift. It won't come from the outside. It won't come from motivation alone. It comes from becoming so conscious of your unconscious patterns that you stop being a slave to them. It comes from stepping outside the loop of familiar thoughts and emotions and saying, no more. I am not this fear. I am not this guilt. I am not this anxiety. I am energy. I am possibility. I am presence. And I get to choose right now who I will be, how I will feel, what I will believe. The greatest act of courage in this world is to pause, to look within when the world is begging you to react. Society teaches you to be busy, to keep chasing, to compare, to compete, to scroll endlessly through the noise. But transformation doesn't happen in noise, it happens in stillness. When you focus on yourself, truly focus, you give yourself permission to listen, not to the world, but to your inner guidance system. And that voice, that deep, quiet presence that always whispers instead of screams, that is your truth. And your truth doesn't rush, it doesn't chase. It doesn't seek permission, it simply knows. You are not here to fit in. You are here to remember who you are before the world told you who to be, before the trauma, before the programming, before the patterns. You are energy, pure, infinite, intelligent energy, and that energy never left. It only got buried under fear, stories, labels, and repetition. But now, as you begin to shift your energy, you start peeling those layers back. You begin to separate your identity from your history. You begin to understand that your true self is not your job, your past, your bank account, or your trauma. Your true self is the observer, the awareness that sees it all and remains unchanged. So what does it mean to focus on yourself? It means you stop waiting for someone to save you and realize, I am the one. It means you choose to do the hard inner work, releasing, forgiving, rewiring, because you know that nothing on the outside will ever last if your inside is in chaos. It means you start honoring your body with movement, your mind with clarity, and your heart with honesty. It means you stop lying to yourself, stop pretending you're fine when you're breaking, stop numbing with distractions, because your soul is trying to wake you up. Every breakdown, every betrayal, every delay, it's not happening to punish you. It's happening to shake you into a new level of awareness. Your energy will only shift when you become fully present, not tomorrow, not next week. Right now, the present moment is your access point to the quantum field, the field where all potential exists. And when you learn to sit in that space, calm, conscious, connected, you start drawing new experiences toward you, not because you're forcing them, but because you're becoming them. That's the key. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are in harmony with. Think about your life right now. What are you consistently feeling? Fear? Doubt? Resentment? If so, those emotions are signals not of who you are, but of what needs healing. Don't suppress them. Don't fight them. Just sit with them, observe, accept, and then choose again. This is how energy begins to shift, not through force, but through awareness. When you start becoming aware of your emotions, your reactions, your automatic thoughts, you begin to separate from them. You stop identifying with them. And when you're no longer identified with the old version of yourself, you create space for a new one to emerge. And let's be clear, this isn't a one-time breakthrough. This is a daily discipline. Focusing on yourself is not a trend, it's a lifelong initiation. You show up for yourself when it's boring, when it's uncomfortable, when it's easier to quit, because you know that every time you sit in meditation, every time you write the vision, every time you speak life into your future, you are reprogramming the subconscious mind. You are literally rewiring the neural architecture that has been keeping you in cycles of lack, fear, and resistance. This isn't self-help. This is neuroplasticity. This is epigenetics. This is conscious evolution. Your body listens to your thoughts. Your cells respond to your emotions. When you hold guilt, your body becomes tight. When you hold love, your immune system strengthens. The science is clear. Your biology is listening. So what are you telling it every day? Are you telling it you're not enough, that you'll never heal, that you're stuck? Or are you telling it, I am powerful, I am whole, I am healing, I am the author of my future? The body doesn't know if you're imagining or experiencing something, So rehearse the future you desire, feel it, live it, embody it. Because when you do, you're no longer chasing change, you're becoming the change itself. And from that space, reality begins to shift around you. Not because you begged for it, but because you aligned with it. Because your energy no longer matches the vibration of lack, it matches the vibration of abundance. And energy always meets its match. Focusing on yourself also means you must be willing to let go. Let go of what's comfortable. Let go of people who no longer align. Let go of identities that feel safe but suffocating. Let go of the old story that you've rehearsed for years. The story that says, I can't. The story that says, I'm not ready. The story that says, a maybe one day. One day is a myth. You are the author. Pick up the pen and write a new chapter. A chapter where you no longer play small to make others comfortable. A chapter where you stop asking for permission to live fully. A chapter where you show up as the limitless being you were born to be. And as you do this, your energy becomes unrecognizable to the old you. You start speaking differently, thinking differently, walking differently. Not because you're faking it, but because you're finally aligned, finally present, finally free. There comes a moment in every person's life when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the fear of change. That moment, right there, is your awakening. That's when your soul whispers louder than your ego. That's when you realize, if I don't shift now, I'll keep living the same year over and over, calling it a life. You were not born to repeat patterns. You were born to evolve, to expand, to remember the power that has always lived inside you. But to access that power, you must shift your energy. And to shift your energy, you must take full responsibility for it. This means letting go of blame, letting go of excuses, letting go of it's their fault. The moment you take radical ownership over your energy, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, you take your power back. And when you do that, you stop reacting to life and start creating it. No more waiting for the perfect time. No more needing the external to line up. Because guess what? The external world will never be consistent until your internal world is coherent. Energy flows where attention goes. And if your attention is always scattered, on the news, on other people's opinions, on past pain, you'll never access the quantum intelligence that wants to move through you. You've got to train yourself to become internally driven. To wake up each day and ask, what energy will I bring to this moment? Not a what can I get, but a who can I become? That's how your future shifts. You shift first, you raise your frequency, and the world around you mirrors that back. People, situations, ideas, they all begin to respond to the new signal you're broadcasting. You're no longer surviving, you're thriving. You're no longer reacting, you're responding. You're no longer trapped in the past, you're creating from the now. And here's something most people miss. Your energy is your identity. If you've been living in guilt, in shame, in self-doubt for years, that's not just an emotion. It's become your energetic personality. And your personality creates your personal reality. So if you want a new life, you need a new personality. Not fake, not pretend, but a consciously created, energetically aligned version of you who already lives the life you desire. So sit with that version of yourself. Visualize them. What do they think like? What do they feel? How do they speak? How do they move? Embody that. Feel it in your nervous system, because when your brain believes it, your body follows. And when your body follows, your field shifts. And when your field shifts, the quantum responds. This isn't spiritual fluff. It's real, grounded biological transformation. Your brain is like a garden. If you keep watering weeds, doubt, fear, comparison, don't expect to grow a life of abundance. You need to rewire, uproot the weeds, plant new seeds, and most importantly, nurture them daily. This is the discipline. Not just visualizing once, but living from that vision repeatedly until it becomes more familiar than the past. Until the pull of your future is stronger than the gravity of your history. That's when the miracles start. That's when you're no longer dependent on willpower because your energy now does the work. That's when healing happens spontaneously. That's when synchronicities flood in. That's when people say, you've changed, and you smile because you know, yes, I changed my frequency. To focus on yourself is not to isolate, but to integrate. To go inward and align so deeply with truth that the external world has no choice but to reorganize around your vibration. You begin to attract, not by chasing, but by being. The right people find you. The right ideas come through you. The right timing emerges. Because you are finally in tune with the field of infinite intelligence that surrounds and flows through all of us. Do not underestimate this truth. Your energy is more powerful than any strategy. Your alignment is more magnetic than any marketing. Your presence, your calm, grounded, fully connected presence, is what changes rooms, shifts timelines, heals relationships, and moves mountains. And that presence is only available when you slow down, go within, and choose consciously who you are becoming. So today, be brave enough to pause, brave enough to feel, brave enough to sit with the uncomfortable. That's the work. That's the initiation, and it's not easy, but it's worth it. Because once you align with the frequency of your highest self, you'll never settle for low vibration living again. You'll never trade your peace for temporary pleasure. You'll never give your power away just to be accepted. You will walk differently, talk differently, decide differently. Decide differently, not because you're better than anyone, but because you've remembered, I am energy, I am conscious, I am the creator of my life. And the world? The world begins to reflect that truth back to you in ways you never imagined. You're not here to react, you're here to remember. To remember that you are not the events that happened to you. You are not the habits you learned in survival. You are not the beliefs others forced into your subconscious. You are the awareness behind it all, the intelligence observing it all. And when you realize that, truly feel it in your bones, you begin to take your power back. That is the beginning of transformation. That is the root of freedom. Because the moment you recognize that your thoughts are not you, your emotions are not you, your past is not you, you begin to detach from the program and step into the role of the creator. So how do you shift your energy in real time? You begin by choosing your state before your circumstances choose it for you. Don't wait for the right day to feel grateful. Choose gratitude right now. Don't wait for the right opportunity to feel abundant. Breathe abundance now. Don't wait for external love to feel worthy. Create worthiness from within. When you train yourself to feel what you want before it happens, you send a new signal into the quantum field. That signal becomes your new energetic set point. That's not fantasy. That's frequency. And frequency is how reality forms. Most people are addicted to their emotions, addicted to stress, to worry, to overthinking. They don't realize their body has memorized those states so deeply, it pulls them back into suffering even when nothing's wrong. You must break that cycle. You must interrupt the addiction to the familiar. Because familiar doesn't mean safe. Familiar just means repeated. And repeated thoughts, emotions, and behaviors become personality traits. But personality is not permanent. It's programmable. That's the gift we've been given. The power to recondition ourselves through repetition and intention. When you focus on yourself, you begin to feel where your energy leaks. You become sensitive to what drains you. The people, the habits, the environments that no longer support your evolution, they become obvious. And this awareness isn't judgment, it's clarity. Clarity about who you were, who you are, and who you're becoming. You no longer settle for distractions masquerading as entertainment. You no longer engage in conversations that keep you small. You no longer waste energy explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. Because your energy is now sacred, it's focused, it's refined. You're not trying to prove anything. You're embodying everything. And that embodiment becomes your compass. You trust it. You follow it. You let it lead the way. Not your fear, not your wounds, not your past, but your aligned frequency, vibrating at the level of your future self. Every time you meditate, you're not escaping reality. You're designing it. Every breath you take with presence is a message to your body that says, we are safe now. We are ready now. We are healing now. We are healing now. Every visualization is a rehearsal of the future. Every elevated emotion, joy, gratitude, love is a chemical signature of the destiny you are collapsing into the now. And yes, the world might still test you. Circumstances may still shake you. But your reaction changes. Your default energy changes. Where you once panicked, you now pause. Where you once doubted, you now breathe. Where you once spiraled, you now observe. And that change, that new response, is the proof that the inner shift is real. Because true power isn't loud, it's grounded, unshakable, rooted in the knowing that I choose my energy. I choose my story. I choose my vibration. Always. It's time to stop outsourcing your worth. Stop measuring your value by likes, attention, approval. External validation is temporary. Internal alignment is eternal. The more you focus on the external, the more lost you become. But the more you shift inward, the more magnetic you become. And people feel that. They feel the peace. They feel the presence. They feel the quiet certainty that doesn't need to explain itself. That's the power of focusing on yourself. You become untouchable, not because you've built walls, but because you've built awareness. And let's be honest, this journey is not linear. You'll fall back. You'll forget. You'll get triggered. That's okay. That's human. But what matters is your return to presence, your return to breath, your return to self. That choice is the path to mastery. You're not trying to be perfect. You're becoming present. You're not chasing healing. You're aligning with wholeness. You're not fixing yourself. You're remembering that you were never broken. So today I invite you, make yourself the priority, not an ego, but an energy, not to shut the world out, but to tune your frequency in. Begin your day not with noise, but with intention. Ask yourself, what do I want to feel today? What energy will I radiate? What version of me will I show up as? And then embody that no matter what happens. Because when you maintain your energy regardless of conditions, you've already mastered the art of creation.